Hello and welcome to this London Museum development tutorial looking at how you can make a basic museum interactive using Google Slides. My name's Alec Ward and I'm the Museum Development Officer for Digital and Communications. So today I'm going to show you how to use Google Slides to create a basic interactive that could either work as a touchscreen in gallery or could work as something that you host online and that people can click through from home. So I'm going to quickly show you a basic interactive that I made, some of the features of it, and then we'll take you through how you can do some of those things yourself. So for instance, you've got the menu here, which you can click and it will give you some drop down options. On the interactive, you've got some different options for what you can explore and get some more information about. If I had spent more time on this, I would have made it a little bit more designy, but I've created this more just to show you the basics and to understand how you can do this sort of stuff. So you can get more information, for instance, you can go back and find out about Roman London, again, more information. There is more to this interactive that I've not shown you, but for the sake of the video today, we're just going to focus on this interactive element and I'll show you how I built that. I'm going to put the link for the interactive in the description for this video below, so you can have a look at that, have a play around and see what you think of the whole thing if you'd like. So now we're going to go through how you can do some of those things yourself. So the first thing you want to do is go to Google Slides and create a new slide. So you can do that by going to Google and just type in Google Slides. You will need a Google account, which is free to set up, and that's what you'll use to use Google Slides, but also the other Google document suites like Google Docs and Google Sheets, which are basically versions of Word and Excel. So once you go into Google Slides, you'll be greeted with a blank presentation slide, just like if you were using Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm going to delete all of this information and I'm basically going to take the content from my draft presentation and I'm going to paste it into this one so I can show you how I did it. So we're going to start off with a menu page, and to do that we need a nice image. So this is an image of a diorama of Roman London. And then we also want to take the menu. So to do this I just created a box. So if you go insert and then shape, and then you just want a square box about that big. Again, you can sort of position it wherever you want it, just like you would in PowerPoint. Now to make it opaque, you do that in the formatting options here. So fill color and then custom, and I chose black, and then down here you've got the transparency. So obviously that would be completely invisible. I chose somewhere around here. Then you want to insert some text. So you can do that in the box itself if you want. So you can right click on the box, hit edit text, and then just type in menu. Obviously you want to change the color to white so that you can see it. And then you've got the different options here for font. I'm going to stick with Arial just for speed, but you can change the size. You can make it bold. You can also use tab so that you can then add in your menu icon, the sort of traditional icon that denotes a menu. And I created this in a website called Pixel, which is like a free image editor, which is very good to use for this sort of work. So now that you've got your menu box set up, you then want to make it so that when you click it, it will go onto the actual menu. So to do that, you need to duplicate your slide. So there's your option. You right click on the slide, hit duplicate. That will now give you the same slide again. So what you're going to do now is you're going to drag the box down a bit to make it bigger. Obviously you want this to line up, and you can do that with these options. So that moves the text to the top. Move that in line. And then you want your menu options. So we've got interactive and we've got quiz. Let's make that box slightly smaller so it looks a little neater. There we go. what we're going to do real quick is just copy that again, because where we changed it on the second slide, we just want to make sure that the first slide now matches up. We're going to delete this. I'm just going to paste it in, and then we're going to get rid of the text. I'm going to move it up just to make sure that it all lines up, because otherwise when you click the menu button it will move slightly and it will look messy. Now we need to make it so that when you click either this button or the word menu, it will open up the menu. So what you need to do is highlight the text menu, insert link. Now I'll give you the options for the slides in the presentation, and you want to choose slide 2. Hit apply. You can reformat this, and you also want to do the same for here. Insert link, slide 2, apply. So now when we present and we click the button, it will drop down the menu. Now what you also want to do is for the menu to pop back up when you click it again. So we do that in slide 2. Again, highlight the word menu, insert link, slide 1, because we want to go back to that original slide. And again, for this option, insert link, slide 1, apply. So now when we go back and we click present, the menu drops up and drops down. Another thing that we want to do is to stop people from being able to click on the slide or the presentation and advance slides as you normally would with a PowerPoint, for instance. When you click on the slide, it usually advances the slides. So what we want to make sure is that any background images, when you click them, it will take you to the original slide. So if we go insert and we go link, slide 1, insert link, and we want this one to slide 2. And for the box itself, we'll also give it a link, slide 2. And then same for this box. For this box, actually, we might as well just do a link to slide 2, just in case somebody misclicks the menu or the menu button. So now that should stop them from being able to advance to the second slide. So you can see I'm clicking around here and it's not advancing to the second slide, because this is linked to stay on this slide. Then when we hit the menu, or when we hit the box, or when we hit the word menu, it drops down to these options. So now what we want to do is to start building our mini interactive. So to do that, I'm again going to steal the content from here just for speed. So what I've done here is just inserted some images onto a grey box background, used some text boxes there to type out what they are so that people know what they're clicking. A little bit of an introductory phrase, what would you like to explore? It sort of gives them an idea of what they're supposed to be doing. And then I've also got this home button up here so that if somebody actually wanted to go to the quiz, for instance, they can hit home and it will take them back to the first slide so they can then choose the quiz. The other thing is the white box. This is actually a white box, which again I've linked so that it will only stay to this slide. So if somebody was to click the white, it won't advance to the next slide, which is slide 4. It will instead just keep them on this slide. So we're going to copy all of this, and we're going to paste it into a new slide. So again, for the home image, I just took that off of a website which had free to use open source like logo images. So this is just your classic home looking button. It's a house. People know that if they click that, in general it will take them home, but I've also got the text home next to it just to make it clear. Then again, we've got images for the Roman London, we've got images for prehistoric London. So once you've got all of that set up, how you want it to look, obviously, again, I've done this for speed, but if you wanted it to look a bit smarter, you've got lots of options for inserting images and for inserting shapes. Again, there's lots of programs out there like Pixlr, which lets you do some really interesting image editing. And if you're looking for something more powerful, you could use like GIMP, for instance, or if you've got money to spare, Photoshop. So the next stage is to link it to your first part of the interactive. So we're going to take Roman London, and again, I'm going to copy and paste this for speed. And again, I've done the same here. So there's various different elements to this. For instance, you've got the back button, but again, I've got the text back so that people know what it does. I've got a title here, Roman London. Here is just a normal text box, which I've put on top of a grey box, which you can see here. I've also just typed out another box here and put the word more, so that then when you click that, it will take you to the next bit of text, and I'll show you how to do that in a sec. And then just a random image, again, the same one that we've used for the title. I've used here to display Roman London. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in all of the links. So the first thing we want to do is link this image so that it takes you to Roman London. So you go insert, link, and then you want slides in this presentation, and you want to choose slide 4, hit apply. So now if we go into the present mode, and again we hit slide 4, it takes you to slide 4. So now whilst we're in this one, we want to make it so that when you click more, it gives you more information. So what we're going to do is we will duplicate this slide so that it looks the exact same. It's just the text here that we're changing and the text here that we're changing. So again, we'll change that to back so that it will take you back to the original text, which is this. We'll just put in some random text here for the sake of brevity. Some more information about Roman London. Now what you want here is that when you click the word back, it takes you back to the original text. So again, insert link. You kind of get the picture. It's a lot of inserting of links. And then we want to go to slide 4, apply. Again, we want to reformat that. So now we want to go back to Roman London, and we want to insert a link here so that when we hit more, it takes us to slide 5, which has the further information. So now when we hit present, we click more, it takes us to the more information. When we click back, it takes us to Roman London information. Now something else that we could do if we wanted to be fancy would be to have like a sort of sliding image gallery here. So what we're going to do is we're going to steal the back icon, and we're going to paste it in. So copy and paste, pop it here. Again, if I had a bit more time, I'd make it a little bit more designy, but as we're doing this quickly, just going to flip that over so that it's facing the other way. So we've already got the back and more set up, so we don't have to worry about that. The next stage is going to be setting up the images. So what we want to do is duplicate the slide again. And now on slide 5, I'm going to get rid of that image. We're just going to get a random image of Roman London. If you're doing this properly, you would properly source a image as opposed to just taking it off of Google. But for the sake of brevity, I've just taken it from the Museum of London's website. So I'll make sure that it's the right size. And then I'm going to choose the order, send backwards, order, send backwards. So now the 2 click buttons are there. So now what we're going to do is hyperlink these buttons. So this button is going to take you to slide 5. Hit apply. And then for this one, seeing as we're only going to have 2 images, we'll have it the same so that that one takes you to slide 5 as well. And then on this one, take it so that this one takes you to slide 4. Obviously, if we had more images, we'd have it so that they, cycle through more than just the one image, but again, for speed. So now if we view that in the presenter, so we've got more there. And now when you click that, it takes you to your different images. So what you would also want to do is to make sure that those images also work on your slide with more information. So this one, for instance. So you'd have to do the same again, duplicate the slide, add in the image, and have the arrows. Okay, so now that we've got the sort of first part of our interactive, the key thing is to make sure that all of the back buttons, home buttons, that sort of stuff all work properly, and that the experience doesn't break for the user whilst they're using it. So let's just make sure that all of these buttons go where they should. So home, obviously we want that to go to slide 1, so insert link, slide 1, apply. We'll do the same for the word home as well, just in case anybody clicks that. Now what we could do is we could do that for every single slide if we wanted to. We could click, home, link, and all of that sort of stuff. But instead what I'm going to do is just copy it and then paste it onto our slides. So delete those, Control V. And once we've made sure that the home button works, we then want to make sure that the back button works. So home, we want it to take you to the main menu, but back, we just want it to take you to the start of the interactive. So for this one, we want to, again, insert link, link, and we want this one to go to slide 3. Apply, and again, same for the word back. And again, we then want to copy that and paste it into our other slides. So the final thing to do is to link the menu item for interactive to our actual interactive. So again, insert link. I think you're seeing a bit of a theme here. Our interactive starts on slide 3, so we want slide 3. You can have it underlined if you want to make it look a bit more like a link. I think it looks neater without, but again, it's entirely up to you. So now we should have a fully functioning interactive. So let's give it a go and see if it works. So again, we've got the menu, click interactive, takes us to our interactive. We've not done prehistoric London yet, so we'll check out Roman London. So check more, that works fine. Check that the sliding of images works okay. Yep, that works perfectly. Again, that's okay. And that's okay. We've got back, and that takes you back to the interactive so that we can try that out once we've done that. And then we've also got home, which takes you home. And we'll just make sure that the home option works on these slides as well. Perfect. So that's basically created a very simple interactive. Obviously, there's lots more that you can do with Google Slides. You can, add loads more information. You can add quizzes. You can even add in videos, for instance, if you want, that can play. Again, you just do insert video, audio as well. If you have like audio clips that you wanted to play whilst people are reading the stuff, you could, for instance, have like an audio clip of a recreation of Roman London, or whatever you wanted. There's lots of options for how you can do it. A lot of it is just about playing around and understanding how it works. The fundamentals is to learn the basics, to work out how to link slides and make sure that you don't create a broken interactive that will not work for someone. As soon as you've got the basics right, you can then start adding in some more interesting, some more detailed, developed content. So the final thing to do is to export it so that you can use it online. Now, if you're in a gallery, you could just have this browser open and you could lock it so that people can't get out of the presentation. And then you could just have it up on a tablet, for instance, and people can just click through it. If you wanted to have it on your website, for instance, you can do it quite effectively by publishing your presentation to the web. So publish to the web. This will give you the information, so you can either have a link or you can embed it, which is what I tend to do. Auto advanced slides, I try to have it as high as possible, so every minute. just in case somebody, is taking time reading. You don't want it to click onto the next slide. You can choose the size. I tend to go for large. I wouldn't have that one, but I would go for this, just in case somebody was to leave it open on the last slide. You might want it to flick back. But once you click publish, it then gives you your embed link, and then you can basically copy that link and publish it into WordPress. So I'll quickly show you how that would work. So now you can see that my presentation has been published. Again, you can't click through the slides, but you can click menu. You can go to your interactive, prehistoric London. There's your information. Slide through the pictures. Go back. Go home. And this has been published to WordPress. Basically, any web platform that lets you embed, you'll be able to embed your Google slide onto. You can also share the slides. So if somebody wanted to, if you wanted to share it on Twitter, for instance, you can get a share code. My interactive. And then you can choose so that only people added can open with this link. You can also choose it so that people can edit it if that's something that you want, but I would suggest that anyone with the link can view. And again, then you can copy that link, and when you share it with people, either through email, through a newsletter, or on social media, it will take people to the interactive. You might need to give them a little bit of a prompt, so say hit present to start the interactive, something along those lines. But yeah, with the link, anybody can have a look. So that's just a really basic introduction as to how you could create a interactive, which could either be in museum, in gallery, or online. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can do with Google Slides if you get a little bit creative and spend a little bit of time doing it. I definitely recommend looking at bringing in different types of content, like images from your collections, audio files from your collections, and videos from your collections as well. That could make a really interesting interactive experience. But get the basics done first. Have a go at creating the sort of like basic menu, and have a go at creating a basic interactive, and then just sort of build from there. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and best of luck.